Hello everyone, you're watching Business Africa. My name is Asha Sampath and welcome to our new edition dedicated to the continent's business and economic news. This week we put the spotlight on chocolate but also the environment 2 weeks before COP27 in Egypt. And like every fortnight, you can win $150 in our Business Africa game. More details later, but first today's top stories. In Gabon, an entrepreneur strives to achieve the best possible quality in the manufacture of chocolate using local resources.
The chocolate that is from our plantation, we therefore reserve it for these bars from the plantations, and that allows us to identify the source of cocoa.
How an income-generating activity can be an environmental hazard, we head for the Congo basin, where the practice of fish smoking is threatening forests.
Au niveau de la pêche, il y a des jours.
When you go fishing, there are days when a lot of fish come out. Sometimes, when they don't sell all that fish, they have to smoke it.
Unemployed graduates and microcredit. It's a winning combination to supply Khartoum with vegetables.
I completed my studies but couldn't get work, so I came here. Like so many Sudanese women, I've always dreamt of being independent, having my own space and my own ideas.
Could brown gold further boost the African continent? The chocolate confectionery industry represents a global market of nearly 115 billion euros per year worldwide. But for a long time, African producing countries were content with exporting beans and importing chocolate, an illogical status quo that goes against the objectives of transforming local production. Some entrepreneurs are taking up the challenge. Example in Gabon with Les Chocolats de Julie. This is a report by our correspondent on site, Jean-Rovis Debani. Every weekend, Julie inspects her cocoa plantation to check if the 1,000 cocoa trees are growing well. Located in Cap Estorias, some 40 kilometers from Libreville, this orchard boasts an exceptional raw material used by master chocolate makers worldwide. For over 10 years, Julie and her French husband have been running a real sustainable cocoa plantation project. She is inspired by the village model of her grandmother's plantations. Criollo, Trinitario and several other cocoa varieties are grown on this plantation. This agricultural engineer regularly advises Julie's teams on new agroforestry methods.
Depuis la mise en place de ce verger,
Since the establishment of this orchard, I have noticed that there is a clear evolution.
parce qu'avec un objectif de 3 hectares au départ,
With an objective of 3 hectares at the beginning, we have today 5 hectares of planted cocoa trees that are in production. Of course, there is a big problem in terms of supervision.
Ce que nous devons faire maintenant, c'est de faire en sorte que
But what we need to do now is to ensure that this promoter can be supported from plantation to post-production operations, because it is exciting to produce cocoa.
la transformation, disons, aux opérations post-récolte, autant pour moi. Parce qu'il est bien beau de produire du cacao.
But if you do not master the process of shelling, fermentation, drying, and bagging, your cocoa does not have a good market value.
Votre cacao n'a pas une bonne valeur marchande.
With the ambition of producing up to 10 tons of beans per year, the arrival of this engineer now gives Hervé, Julie's husband, dreams of grandeur.
I think we'll continue this consulting work because we don't master everything. It's really sharp expertise like this that we need to continue the development and growth of Julie's chocolate factory and plantations.
It is in this chocolate factory located in the city centre that the beans from Julie's plantation, or those purchased from the Cocoa Fund, are processed. In 10 years, Julie has succeeded in dethroning the multinationals that offer bars on the local market, which are the preserve of producers such as the French Barry. Julie's Gabonese chocolate brand has more than 20 fresh flavours. What makes Julie's chocolate special is that we have a wide range of products.
Nous avons développé de nouveaux produits comme la tablette à la badam.
We have developed new products such as the badami bar. We also have chocolate sweets that you see there in the shop windows. We also have new products that we have launched on the market.
De nouveaux produits que nous avons sortis sur le marché, donc dans nos boutiques. On a ici, par exemple,
we have coconut flavored rum here, for example. It's milk chocolate.
Du rhum au coco. Donc c'est un chocolat au lait. Et on a aussi le rhum coco. On a aussi à la vanille. Et on a aussi le thé matcha, donc du chocolat.
We also have vanilla and green tea chocolate.
Et du chocolat au thé vert. Et là, on est en train d'étudier un autre.
And we're currently studying another chocolate that we will launch soon. It's made with mint from Gabon.
On transforme de la fève, donc on peut prendre par exemple nos fèves soit à notre plantation.
We process the beans from our plantations or those purchased from the cocoa warehouse.
On les trie, on les met en machine, on les torréfie, on les canche.
Which we sort, grind and put into conches.
On souffle et on met au conchage. Et moi je prends la partie là où
and I do the part where we process them into bars and other chocolate derivatives.
Dérivés de produits de chocolat. Voilà.
Through hard work, Julie's Gabonese chocolates have become emblematic of a country where good beans are made. But no chocolate. Hervé is a precious help in this adventure.
We are lucky here in Gabon, a blessed country in terms of raw materials. Whether it is the subsoil, forest, or agriculture, we have everything. But we need to federate all that. We are planters, and we need to be able to source good quality cocoa and put it in these bars. This is cocoa from our plantations. The chocolate that is from our plantation, we therefore reserve it for these bars from the plantations, and that allows us to identify the source of cocoa.
To succeed in entrepreneurship in Africa is not an easy bet, yet Julie is part of a new generation of young Gabonese entrepreneurs making a name for themselves. That day, she was invited by the US Embassy in Gabon to speak to young entrepreneurs about her success story. Julie's chocolates is a huge inspiration to me because in the beginning I thought, how did she get to this point? By talking to us about her work, I realized that you could start from nothing, just by going from an idea. And as you develop that idea, meet people and have opportunities that can push you to kickstart your business. Today, Julie is considered a true pioneer in her country in the field of artisanal chocolate making. Her expertise has already been rewarded on the international scene. In 2015, the chocolatier was awarded the Euro Chocolate Awards in Italy, a distinction awarded annually to the world's chocolatiers. Before COVID-19, this complementary couple had 5 shops in the capital Libreville, and today only 2 remain. With a turnover ranging between 200 and 300 million CFA francs per year, the duo is preparing to raise funds to build a factory to process the brown gold. They are also planning to open shops in Paris and Washington very soon. Africa is also impacted by the cut in production quotas, which has just been decided by the member states of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, the OPEC. But paradoxically, the drop of 2 million barrels per day for the month of November have had no consequences so far for one of the largest African oil producers, Nigeria. The country is one of the 14 members of the alliance that produce well below their quotas. This is due to thefts in the production circuits. The authorities have just announced the closure of 395 illegal refineries and even a 4-kilometer clandestine pipeline. And meanwhile, the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, said no to the United States. John Kerry, the American president's special envoy for climate, was asking Congo to withdraw 6 of the 30 oil and gas exploration blocks currently being tendered. The blocks are located in one of the largest tropical forest bogs. The Congolese government has indicated that it wants to continue exploration while ensuring environmental protection. The two countries will set up a working group to discuss the subject at the COP27. And precisely just 2 weeks before COP27, deforestation will be one of the topics on the agenda. This despite the high demand for charcoal in Africa, which remains a major source of forest loss. But it's not just about heating and cooking on a daily basis. Traditional fish smoking can also pose a great threat to the forest. This flourishing activity requires more and more wood from the Congo Basin, as observed by our journalists Jean-David Miamley and Bruce Kinu. This is a smoked herring, the famous makwala, a very popular fish in the Congo. Its production is intrinsically linked to the exploitation of the forest. The Congo Basin is 268 million hectares of forest. That is 70% of Africa's forest cover and 6% of the world's forest area. The forests of the Republic of Congo occupy just over 10% of the space, or 22,410,682 hectares, according to the Congo Basin Forest Partnership. The production of makwala has already ruined the mangroves of Pointe Noire. Now the wood from the surrounding forests, as in Mayombe or Kwilu, are being targeted.
On 1 hectare, there can be around 700 trees, 1,000 or 250 or 500. It depends. One thing is sure, in a month I can cut down trees on a perimeter of 3,000 meters by 100 meters.
Congolese legislation does not yet address the issue of small loggers, who are nevertheless very dynamic. Ignored by the tax services in particular, they are still evolving in the informal sector, with a simple chainsaw as their main asset.
I prefer to buy the land temporarily, because there is a period of 3 years to exploit the domain. In less than a month, during the exploitation period, you can buy another property to continue the exploitation.
This logger who says he bought a hectare of land for 1 million CFA francs, about 1,500 euros. He specifies that his approach initially consisted of obtaining a long 3-year lease from a village chief. Then, the income earned before the end of the lease allows the buyer to definitely buy one or several plots of forest and thus continue the operating cycle. Obviously, there's a close link between the quantity of fish to be smoked and the exploitation of wood. For 20 crates, the wooden content is 2 tricycles when fully loaded. We start smoking fish in the morning and finish between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Time to spread and turn the fish over the ovens, it's difficult work. It all depends on the quantity and the size of the fish. When it comes to big fish, it consumes lots of wood. Civil society representatives warn against reckless exploitation of the forest.
When you go fishing, there are days when a lot of fish come out. Sometimes, when they don't sell all that fish, they have to smoke it. If there is a lot of fish to smoke, a lot of wood is used. And if we use a lot of wood, it means that we have to use a lot of wood in our forests. And if we cut a lot of wood, it becomes a danger for humanity. Because as you know, today the forest plays a very important role for our survival, because the forest tries to store carbon dioxide to emit oxygen.
It is not known exactly how much wood is taken for smoking fish. In 2007, a World Bank study revealed that an inhabitant of Congo used 1 cubic meter of wood per year for a total production of 100 million cubic meters. Half of it is for firewood. With demographic pressure, demand is such that more and more wood is needed to supply the market with charcoal, firewood or for smoking fish. During COP26, the Congo Basin states, together with the international community, adopted a set of measures called the Glasgow Pact. In particular, it recommends the abandonment of the financing of fossil fuels. A specific separate 1.5 billion agreement for Congo's forests, targeting, among other things, the need to halve the use of charcoal for cooking over the next 5 years. Solutions already exist, such as fish smoking ovens, imported or locally made.
The equipment you see is a modern and aroma injection smoker whose main fuel is gas, but the aromas can be varied. You can fit more than 300 kilos of product in this smoker, and it can smoke around more than 300 kilos of fish per hour. The smoking time is much shorter. Here, in an hour, one can already smoke and dry products. On the other hand, traditional smoking techniques, sometimes take days.
Scattered initiatives already exist to reconcile fish smoking and sustainable forest exploitation. Alongside the experimentation with improved ovens that consume less firewood, there's also the use of fish smoking ovens. All these innovations, carried out by NGOs, the FAO, or independent researchers, have the advantage of saving forests from destruction. The whole challenge is to popularize and finance these discoveries in order to sustainably preserve the forests of Congo in particular. Welcome to the second part of our show. Restore economic stability to support the most fragile households, redirect priorities in favor of investments in the agricultural and agri-food sector. These are the recommendations of the World Bank to African governments. The international financial institution is worried about rising inflation as growth slows down. It should drop from 4.1% in 2021 to 3.3% this year on the African continent. And the progression of the Ebola epidemic in Uganda continues to gain ground. Around 30 people have died after contracting the Sudanese strain of the virus. This strain does not react to the vaccine that was administered in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Africa Center for Disease Prevention and Control, Africa CDC, held a meeting of health ministers from the region last week to coordinate their approach to the advancing outbreak. It is a huge scandal that illustrates the need to verify where the money for humanitarian aid is going. The NGO Sentry has revealed that nearly $1 billion intended for the purchase of food, medicine and fuel was embezzled between 2012 and 2015 in South Sudan. The money came from a line of credit from the Qatar National Bank and Kenyan bank Stanbic. The banks did not require proof of aid payments. A report on the misappropriation was presented to Parliament by Stephen Wandu, the Auditor General of South Sudan, but it was never made public. And further north, Sudan remains in limbo. The United States has removed the country from the blacklist of state sponsors of terrorism. But last year's military coup and the freezing of international aid have dampened its hopes of reconnecting with international exchange circuits. However, it is not the entrepreneurial spirit that is lacking. We had followed these young unemployed graduates who had become the first suppliers of vegetables on the Khartoum market. Take a look.
Afra has been working on this Sudanese farm for 10 years, growing vegetables, including cucumbers, lettuce and peppers. Despite having a degree in economics, Afra started off working in the fields, but now is in charge of 4 people.
I completed my studies but couldn't get work, so I came here. Like so many Sudanese women, I've always dreamt of being independent, having my own space and my own ideas. But I wasn't alone because I had the support of my father and my family. I worked hard to get where I am, and I gave it all I had. I'm very proud to be where I am today.
Graduate unemployment is a serious problem in today's Africa. Some see this as the direct result of college degrees being ill-adapted to market demand, and steps are being taken to redress the balance. Over the past decade, Sudan has helped finance work projects for graduates. In 2008, 300,000 of them were hired or received aid to set up small and medium-sized businesses, with backing from a multi-donor fund. This was the case with the Abu Halima greenhouse project, that counts Afra among its numerous employees.
They are three persons, chief supervisor. Now they assist. They are working with agricultural assistant, and we have also 12 supervisor. Each two greenhouse have 1 supervisor. Inside the greenhouse, we have 2 farmers.
I'm looking into ways of reproducing the idea of the greenhouses. I would like to have the same thing for myself and my family.
The Abu Halima greenhouse project is one of the Islamic Development Bank's proudest achievements to date. It was a collaboration with the Bank of Khartoum and IRADA, a microfinance mechanism. Thanks to this system of funding, there are now 25 greenhouse projects that have become the leading suppliers of fresh vegetables to the Khartoum region, with an annual production of 1,200 tons.
IRADA started in 2011 by the inauguration and signing ceremony of IDB in the 2011. The company, of course, had high ambitions, and it started with a great initiative and a great fund of 250 million. And that fund had also not just the banks in contributing to that fund, also the zakah being holding 25% of that fund. So it is now a compulsory for all banks to become to hold a portfolio of microfinance, which is 12% of that portfolio.
The moringa is another successful example of Islamic finance in Sudan. This multi-purpose tree is highly in demand for its seeds, which are used to make an oil that is popular with the cosmetics industry. But the tree's leaves, bark and timber also have 101 other uses. The Green Ishraka company has based its business on the moringa. Situated 35 kilometers from Khartoum, the company has planted 30 hectares with the miraculous tree, which is good for business and also helps combat climate change.
It can absorb 16 kilograms of carbon dioxide. A human being put in the air 32 kilograms of carbon dioxide. So 2 trees will absorb what a human being put carbon dioxide.
The Green Ishraka company does not just provide a monthly wage for hundreds of employees. The whole community reaps the rewards of planting the moringa, which helps fight desertification. In a country where the desert has crept 100 kilometers further south in just 50 years, and thanks to the moringa, young people are developing their entrepreneurial flair. With the money he's made on the plantations, Abdel Rahim wants to set up his own business.
I would like to find work as a chauffeur and buy a car with the money I earn. That's my plan. I'm going to invest the money I will earn doing that job.
The Abu Halima greenhouse project and the Ishraka company are shining examples of how graduate unemployment can be beaten. With encouragement to set up their own ventures and the right access to funding, unemployed graduates can play their part in their country's development.
And it's now time to reward our loyal viewers of Business Africa. It's up to you to answer to the following questions. If you're drawn among those who have given the correct answers, you will win $150. This is game number 587. So listen carefully to the two questions that follow, and good luck. First question: how many cocoa trees does Julie Nangui's plantation count? 500, 850, 1,000. Second question: what's makwala? Sea bream, smoked herring, or grouper? You know the answers. You can participate now by going to our website, africaonair.com, in the replay section. Answer the questions, fill out your form, and good luck. And of course, don't forget to include your contact details, name, address, telephone, email, and the answers. Of course, check out the terms and conditions in the replay section on our news website, africaonair.com. The winner will receive $150 as our winner this week. Congratulations, you gave the correct answers to our previous game. Here are the details. First question: what does Nadia Andele produce? The answer: indigo loincloth. Second question: when was the Ghana Innovation Hub established? The answer: in 2019. That's it. Business Africa is over for today. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel, for Initiative Africa. I will host Bola Bade, founder of the fintech Susu, offering insurance solutions for members of the diaspora and their relatives in Africa. In the meantime, you can catch the show again on our news website, africaonair.com, and follow us on all our social media channels. Feel free to share, like, and comment using the hashtag Business Africa. Take care of yourselves and see you next week. Goodbye.